G'day, g'day. Welcome to the RLO Masters January event number 4, week number 4, the decider to determine who's in the top 8. A very, very close battle, Max. I'm sure you're excited for today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super keen for this one. Been following pretty much this week near religiously right now, and I kind of wish I had a whiteboard behind me to sort of highlight all these different playoff scenarios, because we're fighting for this top 8 today, and so many teams have that potential to get into it that realistically anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, already a big surprise is happening, not just in this tournament, but throughout 2021. 2021 has been the year for surprises so far. Just today we saw Renegades go down. Let's have a look at the point standings in terms of how these guys match up and where they all stand. With Renegades coming 9th place, they got to worry about themselves. Team Fenrir even themselves, they've come 9th place today. So they have to worry too. Thankfully for Team Process and Cringe side, it looks like they should be through.
Yeah, exactly. Process, they're going to be super happy. But Renegades, they're really that team that is on the bubble in trouble, because Mindfreak, Forbidden, and Invisible Ninjas, all in the quarterfinals, all matching up against a different opponent. If the 3 of these teams win, then right then and there, Renegades find themselves eliminated. So a bit surprising, and it kind of goes with 2021 being this year of the upsets. Renegades, they're in prime spot position to miss out on another sort of top 8 finish.
I think even if just 2 out of 3 of those guys win, that would knock them out, because that would put Renegades in a tiebreaker for 9th, 10th. So they got to really hope that the things go their way. Forbidden has made a big run. Invisible Ninjas just came off the regional victory, and Mindfreak continually seem to be on the up, and they just their Requiem's playing today. So Renegades should be shaking. And then you have, of course, the battle at the very top between Ground Zero and Direwolves to see who will be that important number 1 seed, especially given, you know, the likes of Renegades could be that 8th seed.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting situation coming into this one, where how badly do you want that number 1, 2 seed? Obviously, you'll feel better, especially considering where some of these teams towards the lower end might be on that downward trend. However, a lot of times when these teams are looking at those matchups, it's kind of in that middle. Team Process, the surprise team throughout this RLO Masters, again, another quarterfinal position. They were the team that actually beat Renegades 3-0 to get here. As I think we can take a look at our brackets right now to maybe paint a better picture of how this all came to be. You can see our matchups moving forward. Process in, a bit of a surprise. Forbidden in, really wouldn't have predicted that one, but they're still fighting to get in that top 8. So upsets aplenty, and I kind of like Forbidden's odds against Solicit as well.
Yeah, I mean, Forbidden take it down Team Fenrir just now. They've had their ups and downs, and they've even said that they're disbanding as of the end of this season, kind of just riding out the RLO Masters. But hell, even a really good performance from them today could get them into the finals and maybe turn around those spirits. Team Process, as you said, took down Renegades to get a match, unfortunately, against Ground Zero. So the matches that we are interested in is definitely Forbidden Gaming, Invisible Ninja, and Mindfreak, to see if any of them win this first round, they do qualify over Renegades or get into a tiebreaker for that top 8. Should be very interesting. Maybe expecting another Ground Zero versus Direwolves in the grand final if both of them can make that run.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, it does look like Ground Zero has a little bit of that easier run necessarily than the Direwolves, but Direwolves have been making it happen consistently within the RLO Masters, so definitely don't want to discredit them. Yet our first matchup, it is going to be Cringe Society versus Mindfreak, and as you mentioned, a win here for Mindfreak ties them at least with Fenrir, who did sort of drop out before this top 8 situation, and by getting to that tiebreak, you know, you have some avenue to secure the top 8, if not securing it outright. So a lot on the lines for Mindfreak to step up, perform in this matchup.
It will be interesting to find out exactly how this matchup goes, because I've actually believed that Mindfreak are on the up. They've had some really tough matches early on. They've obviously played with Lethal for multiple weeks. I think 2 of the weeks where they just didn't perform as well as they could. They got taken down by Cringe Society in a close game 5, which, you know, if it went the other way, then Mindfreak would have been in the same position as Cringe Society are now, where they are solidly through. But, this is their last chance, realistically, against a team like Cringe Society, who, for me, have been struggling. I mean, I've been the one casting them, and they have been struggling so far in 2021, and maybe even since the introduction of Jules. That's the team that you have to beat if you're Mindfreak.
I do have to agree with pretty much 90% of what you're saying right now. I mean, I've had the luxury of covering Mindfreak, so even when they had their full roster, again, they did fall short before. They only got to that quarterfinal. However, today in particular, they have looked better than at any other sort of RLO Masters that we've seen from them. They look a lot similar to when I got to cover them during the, I believe it was the third regional, actually, during the round of 32. So Mindfreak does seem on the up in that regards. Cringe Society could be a little bit shaky. This is a good opportunity for Mindfreak to really secure them in as we kick things off. Caveman Ben already putting shots on target.
Good start here for Mindfreak, as you'd expect. I know earlier today they had a tough match against Renegades, but most of that was spent still playing with Lethal, and then Requiem came in at the last second, just like he has here. An opening just saved out by Cringe. Still seeing, for me, Cringe, my biggest problem with them has been just a shakiness in terms of how they go about the offense, and it's led them to be non-threatening at times. But their defense has consistently been solid throughout.
It's interesting because when you sort of compare that, solid defense to Mindfreak, where I've had issues with them has been like commitment to play. Sometimes there's hesitation. Sometimes they draw things out a little too long, and it gives defenses an opportunity to find those deeper clears. And it feels like sometimes the Mindfreak attack will get stalled out early, but that's not the case in this one as Caveman Ben with another chance, this time stopped by the crossbar.
I will say the thing that's got to me recently with Mindfreak is I do believe they're on the up, but Fever hasn't been playing as well as he did pretty much through all of 2020. Maybe a tough start to the year, maybe he hasn't been putting his nose to the grindstone as not enough, or maybe it's just the fact that Requiem has picked up a little bit of the slack that is giving him less room. But either way, if Fever does have a big performance, I think that's how Mindfreak, go to that next level, do take it up against the top three.
I do agree, and I think the reason why Fever has been a bit more reserved has been more of a stylistic change, and I'm glad you brought up Requiem because he has been so much more aggressive, I feel like, in 2021 than he was in 2020, at least towards the tail end of it all, and Fever is a lot of times actually wound up in that third man position where he doesn't feel as comfortable. I feel like with a player like Fever, you do want him pressing forward, going for some of those big mechy plays, but that just hasn't been Mindfreak's style just yet. As we see Cringe Society now with a chance, nice touch from Ben. Requiem will be able to play through the corner underneath. It's an interesting sort of dichotomy right now, and I feel like if Mindfreak can get Fever comfortable playing further back, we already know Requiem can do that as well. This team can kind of become that three-headed tiger.
I do love the fact that on the other end, you still got the powerhouse names. I mean, I haven't been respecting them maybe in recent times, with Drip 8 being such a legendary player. But, some of that tends to also be down to how comfortable they are with each other. And it just feels they've all been a little bit ruined by some of their previous teams. Jules kind of getting into a team with Amphis and previously with Spy Doge, and throughout the year many different members he's had to play with, so he's got his own play style. Decker and Drippe tried something brand new with Torsos, and play style wise they've still got to find that middle ground, and I haven't seen the Jules pop off just yet in 2021.
Well, that just means it's due, yummy, and hopefully we do get to see it soon. This would be a fine time to see it, although I'm sure they would rather pull that outcome, major finals or even during the Masters finals, although Deca has a chance right here. We'll put it in the top left corner, and that's the 1-0 lead for the Cringe Society.
I love that shot too, as Drip8 comes in, hits that high off the backboard. No way for the defense to go up, so they did at least trust the fact that it was going to bounce off the backboard. But with Deca striking like that, and a lot of teams are going to have to start looking at these guys because they may have to face them in the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's going to be a quick response. Requiem finds one pretty much just off of that kickoff.
It is very quick. The kickoff goal, not very well defended out. Drippe had moved forward off that boost, and that left him slow on the way back. So, Mindfreak, they kind of get away with this one a little bit. A weak start in game one, but a kickoff goal still keeps them well in contention.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight series if things do continue at the rate that they are. I kind of feel like, for the most part, we have been seeing Mindfreak more on the tack, surprisingly, than Cringe Society, but Cringe Society did take advantage of their moments previously, and they could have a chance right here if Jules gets enough speed behind this touch. Requiem forced on his back foot. Jules still from underneath it. Everyone kind of smashes into each other right there. Requiem, the one with possession, starts to turn it back the other way. The lob shot surely does not go in, and Jules will take it to the corner.
Drippe almost scored that in his own half, but with 40 seconds left, game one really setting the tone for this series, and almost a shot there. Drippe has to dive for the save, and it's gone long. Decker, can he get another one? He does! What a redirect!
Yeah, finally, with that much pressure, Cringe Society do find their avenue straight down the middle. Deca still had to work for it, despite that net being open, but the defense unable to fall back in time. 2-1 lead in our dying seconds in game one.
Cringe Society, well, that was a major upgrade. The fact that they're pushing Decker forward, they're getting him into striking positions, not sitting in the defense anymore. Now they just have to hold on for 20 more seconds, Max.
20 seconds against a lot of teams can be easy, but when you start playing against those top 8 teams, it tends to be a bit more of a challenge. That said, it's easier on the opponent's side of the pitch. Drippe misses his chance, but the second touch does come through a little bit too premature. K Van Ben will keep it alive. Deca from up above throws it back towards the Mindfreak side of the field. Ball being held up. Drippe actually takes it to the backboard. He wanted to end it on a goal. It will touch the ground though, and Cringe Society win game one.
Great start for Cringe Society. You really did expect that they would come out swinging. And Mindfreak, their only goal was off the kickoff, but look at the shot differential. You did see them getting onto attack a lot early. They couldn't keep it up as Cringe Society kind of just held them out and eventually opened up the game. And maybe a bit of frustration coming out from Mindfreak in this first one.
Perhaps, and it would kind of carry over from some of their stuff during the group stages today. I would say roughly 50% of their goals actually have been coming off of the kickoffs. Their kickoffs look on point right now, but some of these more sustained plays, we saw it more so at the start of this game, they just haven't been able to find those accurate shots. There's been a lot of crossbars, a couple open net misses as well out of Requiem. They've been struggling a bit to sort of finish these plays off, and historically, we can see that come back to punish teams, although another kickoff for Mindfreak. If they can keep doing this, they'll stay competitive.
I can't believe this is allowed to happen. Oh, Decker just completely over the top of him. Didn't even give it an effort. And Caveman Ben very happy to get that first goal. This may be turning out to be a lot more like this the last series they played, where it was very back and forth. I think it was, games fired back and forth. Only one team managed to get 2 in a row, and that was Cringe Society to take the win. But this has got to be considered a kickoff goal as well.
Yeah, I would count this one as a kickoff goal. Whenever you have 2 goals scored in the first 15 seconds, both of them are kickoffs. As you can see right there, Deca just reads the middle of the field, takes it straight down the middle. A couple defenders had a chance, but with the physicality coming from Cringe Society, we've got a tie game.
I've seen series like this too many times. It's just kickoff goal after kickoff goal. It always feels like a freestyle tournament at this point.
I mean, especially with, tight double touches like that out of Jules. Just did all the work right there. I think out of all of the goals we've seen, that one was probably the most impressive, at least on the individual level. And Cringe Society, they have that lead right back.
Well, at this rate, we're going to have a series with about 40 goals.
No, not again.
There's going to be another no! Just saved out Jules on the line, but Requiem had done so well in front of the net with that flip reset.
And now it looks to be going back the other way. Jules with a chance. And, speaking of Jules, if this was that freestyle contest we were talking about, I'd be calling foul play on him. You let those resets go through. That would have counted, so a little bit disappointed.
In a real freestyle tournament, that's worth like 1 point out of 10. As it's a really good tournament goal, but freestyle tournaments, they're a whole nother level in terms of their creativity.
That is true. Perhaps we should be watching Forbidden then, if that's what we would be after. As it stands, Fever with the shot will put it through, and we're tied once more.
Man, these guys are sieving goals is leaking everywhere, but Fever finding a nice shot. Jules expecting something much lower. And that actually took a lot of courage from Fever to go for a shot up there where Jules was. Because usually Jules is going to stay up there nice and high.
Yeah, a little bit of the mind game, reverse psychology situation, I feel like, out of Fever. You wouldn't possibly expect me to shoot it straight at you, and, well, that proved to be the case. Caveman Ben now trying to go for his own waterfall second touch, and two people swing at the ball. No one hits it until Deca gets behind it, and another swing and a miss from a player pushing forward right now. It looks like we have our first sustained play, however.
Almost look like renegades there, flying past the ball in front of the net. Mindfreak, they could have had the lead. They're not going to be too happy with themselves, kind of letting those goals go. That outside of the fact that there's been multiple kickoff goals, it's usually pretty hard to score against Cringe Society, so you need to make everyone count.
Yeah, I feel like after that flurry of offense, there's a good chance both these teams, too, will be playing a bit more reserved throughout the rest of this game. Wouldn't be surprised if it does finish with just one more point. That said, Mindfreak has the chance right here. Fever put it on target. Drippe just gets underneath, but here comes Requiem. And again, Drippe off of the squishy, it looked like, makes another key save. Jules taking it the other way will be stopped by Ben.
Something I've been impressed by in terms of Cringe Society recently, that matches, in my opinion, their quite defensive midfield level play, has been demos. And we haven't seen that come out just yet. I think that's going to break the rotation of Mindfreak. They've been pretty solid in the midfield themselves, in fact taking control and a lot of pressure and a lot of forward momentum throughout this series. And it's all because they're not under the pump right now by those demos.
Yeah, game two, actually a little bit of a reverse of game number one, where we were seeing a bit more of that Cringe Society attack, it feels like. And there's the demos you speak about, Jules forcing a 2v1 situation, yet Fever still comes up big and at least delays the attack for now.
The demo is in the midfield, more just to give them some control and a chance of attack, but nothing that's going to scare Mindfreak whatsoever. And in fact, they've played this nicely. You saw all of them slow down, ready to play the defense. Got the solo out and the potential chance here with Fever going nice and high, hits the roof, but bumped out by Jules in the air.
And you can see the rest of Mindfreak fell back, and with that miss from Ben, scary situation. Requiem does get that save. Fever, delayed defense off that backwards, going to try to pinch it, gets it underneath one. Deca put it in an awkward spot. Plenty of time, though, to clear it to the corner. These counterattacks from both teams are so dangerous, and Jules found his opening. That's going to be the 3-2 lead.
And it was off a demo. Jules at the other end, demos one, opens up the net, and easy as pie for that one to go in.
And it was a very intelligent play as well, seeing two members of Mindfreak pressing forward on that attack. That demo just opened up the net for the next, 5 to 6 seconds. All they had to do was clear it back the other way. So, Cringe Society, with that play, they get the lead, and they're on the precipice of a 2-0 series lead as well.
I'm also starting to question whether it's Mindfreak being good at kickoffs, or if Cringe Society are giving it. That was another close opportunity that just rang off the post from the kickoff. And I think those kind of kickoffs can win you an entire series for Mindfreak. They just haven't been able to get enough at this point in time to get that lead. It's Cringe Society starting to actually pile this pressure forward and prevent Mindfreak from having any more opportunities.
Mindfreak will still try to force the issue, though. Ben kind of sends it across the pitch. Jules will follow it up, and that is a very open-looking net. With no boost, though, Jules cannot quite redirect that shot fast enough, so Mindfreak's defense does hold on. 30 seconds to go. Mindfreak in desperate need to find this equalizing goal. Requiem will go up, but he won't come down with it.
Jules wasn't too happy to miss that goal earlier because he used all of his boost to specifically get out of defense and give his team room to come back. And you can kind of see Drippe moving back here. Now Decker is in a very hard third man position. They're all in defense mode right now, so Caveman Ben will have to try and break something open. Requiem, the last man, the last one with a chance to get a goal, but it will hit the ground. Cringe Society up 2 games.
And they felt 2 pretty dominant games, truth be told. I mean, yes, we've seen really a lot of Mindfreak attack, but at the same time, that Cringe Society defense, for the most part, has been holding resolute. And when you look at Mindfreak goals, they're pretty much all kickoff goals so far in this series, which goes back to their performance in the group stages as well. I think, to go back to your previous point, It is Mindfreak's kickoff. It's just been on point today, but the follow-through, the extended plays, that hasn't been able to finish out for a lot of the games today, and seeing that continue into the quarterfinals, it is raising some sort of warning flags in my mind.
I am a bit worried about Mindfreak. They haven't got that creativity we normally see. They don't have Fever able to set up goals. We don't have Requiem making kind of unpredictable plays, and that usually hinders Caveman Ben, who is known for finishing more than anything else. So we got to start seeing something a little bit different than just straight shots on net, something a little different than just some pressure. We need some good passes, we need some good demos, or we need Requiem to make some good solo plays.
I mean, already saw Requiem back in sort of the round of 12 get the triple touch. So I know it's in his arsenal. He's still pulling them off even today, but to pull that against Cringe Society, that could be the catalyst this Mindfreak team needs. Back against the wall, game number 3, trying to avoid a tie-break situation. If they lose this game, they're most likely going to have to play a series against the Renegades at some stage to get into the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, it might be difficult if there's still that chance that if they lose and the other two win, right, that they may not be in the tiebreaker either, that they might just be knocked out alongside Renegades. It's a very interesting circumstance based on the performances and sometimes lack of performances from multiple top teams around the region in 2021 so far in the RLO Masters. And, well, Mindfreak definitely have to put in a lot more right now, but Jules has opened it up for Deca.
What an individual effort from Jules right here. Had the boost, had the control, gets it past not one but 2 defenders, and Deca just needs to tap that ball to finish the play off. Credit where credit is due, though. Jules coming up massive right there.
Love to see it. That's 2 big goals from Jules. What did I ask for? The Jules pop-off. What did I silently hope didn't happen? Jules question marks, and it hasn't happened so far this game. Love to see it.
Should be worth noting, though, Mindfreak almost answered right back off of that kickoff. You can see how aggressive they are to that ball after each and every goal. Yet, with that stop, it means we're going to need to see that Mindfreak creativity, perhaps, if they're going to tie this one back up. And, well, that was definitely different. I'm not sure that was a creative approach, yet it did almost work.
There was some creativity to it, but I actually find that Jules is one of the best players in OC at avoiding those demos in front of net and still making the save. He has to try and do it again. He can't avoid it, but it's not on target. So thankfully for Jules, doesn't look a little bit silly, just gets to look smart still, and may even have an opportunity as he's backing up Drippy, but not for long. He will respawn soon, but Caveman Ben has the shot. It is too quick for Jules.
That was still enough to get, a bit of the nerves flowing right there. Caveman Ben taking his time. Jules felt like he had time to get the boost.
Why are you getting the boost? You know the shot's coming. Come on, man. You've been in that situation where you spawn multiple times. You know the ball's coming at your own end. Your teammates have at least called it. Oh, no. Right, it's 1 question mark. That's all. That's all. He's had 2 big goals, so we'll still call it the pop-off match.
Yeah, I mean, game's still tied. See where we go from here. I want to see a little bit more from Jules before this is the definitive one, and we'll kick up from this shot. Caveman Ben able to get underneath it, but won't be able to take it back the other way. Drippy now with the chance. Not a lot of boost to work with, and Fever from underneath tries to get the clear. Jules disrupts the clear attempt and then turns it into a demo. Deca now sets it up for Requiem, who puts it on target off of the backboard, though. Not quite the goal.
It's not going to go in just yet, but Mindfreak again in a solid position. They need to be way more dominant, and Fever needs to score that as well in order to get it. It's off the post. Can Caveman Ben? No! Caveman Ben hits the post as well. Misses all around. Fever can't finish it off there. And that is a complete disaster, end to end for Mindfreak.
They're still not done, though. They've been able to keep the attacking pressure throughout. However, by this time, Cringe Society should have recovered. They should have their boost, and now it is Mindfreak playing a little further back. Nice bait getting Deca to push forward, yet the follow-through from Drippy will slow things down, and that finally breaks the attack. But to go back to that flurry of offense, that's what I was talking about before. Mindfreak still struggling to finish, and it just feels like their strikes have not been on point today.
I'm gonna say this a million times at this point. I've been drilling it for all of 2021, since all of the winter split. The teams that are winning are the teams that are finishing their shots. Their striking now needs to be on form, perfect, 50% accuracy at least. And it is not coming out like that today for Mindfreak and Cringe Society. They haven't had too many shots, but they're still getting plenty of goals throughout these games.
That they are, although this game 3 is still up in the air. Tie ball game as we approach our final minute. And again, it is Mindfreak on the attack, but the defense from Cringe Society, every single time that last possible moment, a player is there to disrupt this attack, and we just haven't been able to see the sustained pressure. We haven't seen the creativity to sort of bait and overcommit, and until we see that, I have to have that confidence in this defense to keep Mindfreak back.
It's like the fact that Cringe Society has spent a lot of time with this playstyle, playing more defensive. It's almost like a boot camp for them in defense. Their defense has been so good, but it can only last so long. Fever will snipe it from the mid.
Yeah, all he needed was to pass that 125 kilometer per hour mark. 127, any slower, Drippe is there. That is the power, and that is the fever that Mindfreak needs if they want to get to this semifinal.
Well, Mindfreak are looking better. Once again, starting to finish some of those shots. Keep in mind, it's 10 shots to 3. Mindfreak to Cringe Society. It's been similar game to game. Usually that is telling of how strong a team will be, but it's fully playing into the Cringe Society playstyle either way. And double demos coming out from Cringe may open up something, but a 50 to Requiem, and he's going to slow this down, just waste time from the clock.
Still 14 seconds to go. Jules actually nearly opens up that net. Deca just couldn't get enough power to get it past Requiem. Still 7 seconds on the clock. Requiem's going to try and create as much distance as possible. Big demo from Ben, and with Fever on that follow through, that should end this game. Yet Cringe Society still fights that pass. Deca keeps it alive. Jules did push forward. Now is forced to pass it backwards. This Cringe attack is looking a little disjointed, and finally the ball touches the ground.
A shame for Decker as well. He had the chance to score in regulation time, but didn't get it. So Mindfreak, hold on, take that win, and maybe take that confidence going forward, knowing that they're still really getting that forward pressure, and all they need to do is figure out how to finally finish that off with an infield pass, with a demo, with a backboard, with a solo play. What is going to come out from them? It kind of doesn't matter. They've got the building blocks. They just need to figure out how to go that extra step here against Cringe.
Yeah, so far the only real goal that it looks like has been consistent for them has been the kickoff, and I just don't feel that's good enough with how strong the Cringe Society defense is playing. Yes, we did see Fever put that absolute cracker of a shot through, but I'm not sure, again, relying on every shot breaking that 125 kilometer per hour mark, again, is a realistic expectation. They get a win, that's the start, but to take 2 more, still want to see that little bit more on their attacking half.
Yeah, that go-ahead goal was also a little bit surprising, with it being based off a 50 going perfectly their way. And, sometimes that's a fortune you can rely on a little bit in Rocket League, but you don't want to have to rely on it. You want to be forcing the goals to come out. And this is the man, Requiem, that we want to see do it as well. Maybe could have been something more there if he got that extra touch.
Yeah, it was such a tight window, and you kind of feel like Requiem sort of over-committed in the sense of if he was touching that ball, it was going in. Otherwise, he'd rather miss it entirely. Ball now back in the middle of the field. Jules will look for that pass to Drippe in front of the net. Requiem's there. It's a weaker touch to the corner. A lot of members of this Cringe Society around it, but in the end, they all back off as we continue to bounce around in the middle of the field.
Jules has an opportunity, actually opts for the pass to Drippe. It's right in front of the net, off the post, but Decker will finish. 3-man pass play off the backboard, all started off by this low touch straight to Drippe.
And I loved the confidence of the second pass right there to throw it back to Deca, recognizing that Fever right there in front of the net. If that shot, although it might have looked open, it would have been saved. So it was a high-risk backboard play, but it does pay off, and Cringe Society back out in front.
I mean, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. I really feel like Jules was trying to slot it in. Still trying to get that one around Fever, but it was a little bit fortunate that it came off the post. Not fortunate there. It's pinballed all around the defense and into the net.
Jules just really had a bad time here. First he gets bumped out of the play, and then kind of forced to own goal, that being in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Never really got his bearings, and as a result, we have a tie game.
Cringe Society can't hold on to a lead for very long, it seems, in this entire series. And they won't hold on to it anymore, but another one off the post. Drippe will get the counter-attack, but Requiem was hanging back. Thankfully for them, no disaster in terms of that counter-attack goal going through.
Not just yet, at least, although Mindfreak still being forced to play some defense right now. And this is the most aggressive we've actually seen Cringe Society thus far in any of these games. They're going to be forced back on that back foot. Requiem with the chance, gets in the box. Hitman Ben just cannot get it over the top of Jules. Fever with another opportunity, this time placed through the corner. Nice pass back with Ben. Too far forward to turn it into the strike. And we're starting to see more passes from Mindfreak, it looks like, when they're pressing forward, but they're just not able to connect on them just yet.
Fever will be trying to open it up, and he's got a good solo play, but where's the support? Requiem was all the way back in his own defense. Fever having to do it alone. He will come back in once again, and they have forced Cringe Society into an awkward position with very low boost, but Jules puts enough pressure on. That will go sailing in front of the Mindfreak defense, and all that pressure that Mindfreak had built up has dissipated fast.
Yeah, again, ball kind of sitting around no man's land for a good while right there. Each team should be able to reset. Good boost steal from Drippe, actually. Turns it into a shot, but a little bit too tight. Now Fever should be able to find that clear. Two defenders and no boost. Going to have to really work to make this something happen here. And it does set up and pass across the middle, but Requiem too far back to immediately find the strike.
For a potential breakaway, Deca has given possession away in the hopes of maybe building some boost and some space. It has made it a little bit more awkward for the Cringe Society attack to be threatening. And that is, again, what I have been, I guess, worried about in terms of Cringe Society and their performances in 2021. And now it's an opening here. Caveman Ben just need to finish it. And that is a beautiful shot from Caveman Ben.
What would you call that one? 88, 87 degree angle. Let's take another look right here. Maybe closer to 86, but still picture perfect positioning, and by spiking it off the ground does cause Jules to miss. Mindfreak retaking the lead with just over 100 seconds left in play.
He really just licked it in. That was a very soft stroke right there. And that is very, very good signs here for Mindfreak. They're going strength to strength. Are they going to get into this reverse sweep situation?
It seems like they've got the momentum once again on their side, yet Cringe Society, they can find those quick counterattacks. Speaking of which, Deca has a nice pass to Jules. Requiem steals away, breakaway. They've got to turn this one into a goal. Requiem will 3-1 lead Mindfreak.
Oh, they're going to be very happy. They're finally converting on a lot of their plays, and once they're in the lead, they're even forcing Cringe Society to, I guess, get desperate there with the dive from third man. And a 2-goal lead, you're expecting Mindfreak are one of those teams that can hold on to this one.
You would hope. I mean, if they want to prove themselves to be a semi-final team, these are the leads you hold on to, or you add to, as Caveman Ben across the middle definitely seems to have put this one out of reach.
Renegades are sweating. This is the result they didn't want. They didn't want Mindfreak to even have a chance of the reverse sweep, to have the series win. We're gonna worry here, because it's becoming more and more likely with a 4-1 lead. That kind of momentum is going to be very difficult for Cringe Society to break, given the fact that Mindfreak have had so much pressure and so many shots throughout the entire series.
It feels like we got that game 5, and if you want to add to that Renegade pressure, real quick, Attack of the Invisible Ninja did 3-0 the Direwolves, so Mindfreak wins, Ninja wins, and so too does Forbidden. Next thing you know, Renegades are out. Pressure, though, coming back from Cringe Society. They're not going to find that goal immediately there. 40 seconds left to play, and Cringe Society, they're still trying to create their opportunities.
I actually think that means that if Mindfreak win this one, that Renegades will be 100% out. Interesting development over in the other side of the bracket. And not necessarily meaning that these guys do get through, because there could still be a tiebreaker there, but eliminating Renegades would be one of their best competitors, or biggest competitors in terms of Mindfreak and Cringe Society. So they'd be happy if it does go that way. We'll see, because we are getting into a Game 5 here.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very critical Game 5 Mindfreak, they're trying to secure their spot, and that's a nice shot from Ben. Decker should be able to make that save. Put this one away. The reverse sweep now completely on that table. Mindfreak looking to go all in on it, and Cringe Society, they've got to find a way to sort of get that momentum back.
These shots are now getting converted as well, and even Cringe Society did get 9 on the board, their highest shooting game. But a lot of them were more desperation shots compared to the past. And Mindfreak are starting to turn that domination in terms of possession, in terms of attack, into actual conversion of goals. 4 goals, you're pretty much always going to win if you get a 4-goal game.
And it's interesting because even though Fever didn't really score any of the goals this time around, I do feel like Fever was playing further forward on average than where he was in those first 2 games. And it kind of goes back to, you know, wanting Fever to be a bit further up, to be a bit more of that playmaker. You saw it in the 2 assists that he got, did lead the team this time around. So maybe they're starting to find a bit more comfortable positions on the pitch, at least against Cringe Society. Obviously, it all comes down to this next match if they can pull it out. It's a pretty must-win situation for Mindfreak, and with that pressure, it's now time to step up and capitalize.
I also feel like Drippe has been very quiet across the series, you know. I've seen him not have too much impact. He had that good one that he connected with Jules for. Outside of that, he's been a big playmaker for them in the past. He's been able to use the room wisely. We are heading to a game number 5 to determine not just the fate of these teams, not just the fate of Mindfreak, but the fate of Renegades as well. Will Cringe Society secure it maybe for their rivals?
I mean, I feel like we've seen similar situations to this in Renegades past as well. Season 9, it kind of came down to that reverse sweep as well to knock them out of the playoff situation. Granted, this is RLO Masters, it's not the RLCS, but it would just be another missed opportunity perhaps for the Renegades if Mindfreak get it done. As it stands, momentum should be on Mindfreak's side, yet Cringe Society, they're the ones on the attack. That shot from Deca should go in. Requiem nearly makes the save, but Jules puts it through.
I just have a little bit of a drip coming down my pants at the moment. I can't believe that was on the line for that long. And if it didn't go in, I would have just had to facepalm. I wouldn't know what to do for Cringe Society. But they do get it. It was a brilliant shot. Just needed a little extra oomph to get that one across the line.
That oomph, though, is going to carry over. Shot from Jules, saved by Fever, and now Mindfreak will be looking to take it back the other way. Gets past the midfield player as Deca takes it to the corner. Caveman Ben, they're waiting. Meatball in front of the net, but no one from Mindfreak wanted to press forward. They're playing a bit further back, and again, Fever in that 3rd-man role nearly gets punished straight away. Deca keeps it in the box, but Caveman Ben should be able to corner it. Yet he doesn't!
Beautiful stuff from Cringe Society. A great follow-up. And Jules manages to slot this one in.
It felt like Mindfreak had a couple opportunities to get that ball safely to the corner, yet they let it hang around the middle of the field a bit too long. And as you mentioned, Jules able to slot through, gets that goal. 2-0 lead now, and I think Renegades might be starting to relax a bit. Mindfreak, they certainly are not.
I hope they do, because I think that's when we see the best from Jules, that he's going to relax when he's got the chance to make a few plays as well. We'll see, though. I do think in the past, Cringe Society have gone even more defensive when they get a strong lead, and it's cost them in terms of giving too many opportunities away to their opponents, because there's still plenty of time on the clock for Mindfreak to come back in this one.
Yeah, there is, but again, going back to how Cringe Society has played defense in the first 3 games, if we see that Cringe Society back in form, it is going to be difficult to find those 2 goals for Mindfreak. Jules will connect onto Drippe. That gets off the backboard, but a bump from underneath kind of sent Drippe way off course. Now, Requiem versus Deca. The reset was there, but he can't make contact with the ball. Ben, however, can, and we're back within 1.
That's even just the threat of the reset. This is what's scary about Requiem. He gets the flip reset. Deca sees him actually flip, and the fact that he didn't make contact with the ball didn't matter because Deca was already playing for it.
The crazy thing about that, it actually looked like Requiem was going for the bump off the reset as well. Like, I'm not sure his intention was to actually find that shot there, and that just adds a whole nother element to what you need to be cautious about. I can't blame Deca for being nervous right there at all.
I don't know if Deca's going to be thinking the same thing. He'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe he just didn't hit it. But that is what happens a lot in Rocket League, especially with Requiem. he will often make plays that catch you off guard. A breakaway here, though. Drippe has the chance, but takes it high. Jules is up there waiting. He almost found a fantastic angle there.
That would have been a backbreaker, although this one could be Deca. Not enough power behind that. Fever can rotate back, beats out Jules as well. Drippe is going to try to play corner defense right here. Ben goes up to challenge, has a awkward read, actually goes over the top, and with Requiem pushing forward, here comes the Cringe counterattack. It will be shut down.
A lot of confusion there between Jules and Drippe, but sorted out pretty quickly in the voice comms, it seems. The Caveman Ben now, an opportunity of his own, gets it past one, but it's straight to Deca. A dangerous attack to leave that ball go, sinking right in front of the net. It leads to an easy clear, and Cringe Society have had good counterattacks, still pushing players forward, ready to receive these passes, maybe get some redirects. And with this being in the Mindfreak defense, Cringe Society going to be very happy and maybe even go for some demos here.
They need to go for something, I feel like, because by keeping Mindfreak in this, I feel like it could be a matter of time before someone will step up. Fever won't be able to get it over the top of Deca, who should be able to follow through, yet couple awkward touches right there. I love it when one player misses and it just sets up that chain reaction.
Yeah, that was Fever getting an awkward touch and maybe not expecting the pass to go the way it was. And another demo, this time as Drippe has opened up room for Deca. It'll have to be Jules, and he's been playing a lot more ones recently. The dribbles should be much better, but Caveman Ben, he's worked wonders with that ball in that play.
And now we see Jules forced to backboard it himself. Ben from underneath gets it back. It's set up for Requiem, but a little bit too tight. Means Fever now has the space to work with, not a lot of boost. See if he can get it over the top of Drippe. Has to be creative with this approach. Jules makes the read. 40 seconds left to play. Jules doesn't get the shot he was looking for, and that could set up Mindfreak for that last-ditch effort.
A chance here for Mindfreak to sink one in. Fever challenges two. They've taken them out. Requiem has to do something, but it was a bad touch back to Fever, slowing down that attack. Cringe Society holding in the defense. Deca even toying a bit with Caveman Ben, and it's gone perfectly out for Jules. They break out of defense.
I'm so surprised no one from Mindfreak was in the middle of the pitch right there. It felt like that would have been where they wanted to set up the strike. Now 5 seconds to go. They've got to go the distance, but Deca is already shutting Ben down. Ball in the corner. Fever needs to connect to someone. Requiem can't get it alive, and Cringe Society win it in Game 5.
Oh, they do it for themselves. They've been having a tough time lately, and they make it through to the semi-finals for the second time in 2021. After being the first team in the top 3 to go 9th place, now they are starting to find some redemption. But they've also made it much more difficult for Mindfreak and given a chance to Renegades, their long-term rivals.
That said, though, for both Mindfreak and for Renegades, if Forbidden Gaming wins their matchup against Solicit, I'm pretty sure they're each out. This does mean Attack of the Invisible Ninja, however, they are through not only to the semifinals, who will be playing against Cringe Society, but they have also qualified for that top 8, and it's kind of that bit of a waiting game for us, Yummy. We need to figure out, is it Forbidden or is it Solicit who's going to that semifinal?
I have an update for you. Solicit have won their quarterfinal 3-2 over Forbidden Gaming. You know what that means. It means we're almost guaranteed a tiebreaker match to determine who is going to be joining the top 8 monthly final, Max.
Yeah, I believe that is the 3-way tie. So Forbidden, Mindfreak, and Renegades are all going to be tied on that same score line, and somehow, someway, this is a Basslink's job to determine how the tiebreakers are going to properly work out, but one of those 3 teams is going to have to win a series, I feel like, against at least one of those other teams in order to get through.
Well, I think it may even be somewhat of a 3-way tiebreaker. Forbidden, Renegades, and Mindfreak all in that one fight for the very top. We'll see exactly how that does go. But look, we're gonna have a talk about that a bit more after the break. That was a great quarterfinal, great way to kick off the last week of January. So let's take a quick break and be back, and we'll talk about the bracket even more after this break.